Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on something crucial for English learners, actually thinking in English.
Yeah, moving beyond just translating word for word.
Exactly. We've got this great source material, a transcript from the EP Learning English YouTube channel, which has some really solid ideas on this. And our goal here is to pull out the practical stuff, the techniques that can help you listening to, stop that mental translation and really start processing directly in English.
It's interesting because that core problem, that bottleneck, is something so many people run into, right? That constant mental shuffle between their first language and English.
Totally. It's like this extra step your brain has to take.
And it just slows everything down. Speaking, understanding, the whole process.
Oh, absolutely. You know that feeling. You're in a conversation. There's that pause.
That lag.
Yeah, the lag. You have the thought crystal clear in your own language, then you're scrambling for the English words.
By the time you've got them, the moment's passed. The conversation's moved on.
Exactly. That's the trap, that translation treadmill we want to help you step off.
And the real kind of aha moment, I think, is when you realize what thinking in English actually unlocks.
It's more than just speed, isn't it?
Way more. It's about deeper fluency, definitely, but also confidence. Just feeling more natural expressing yourself.
And understanding people better when they speak to you.
Absolutely. Your listening comprehension gets a huge boost. It's like, think of your brain like a computer, maybe.
Okay.
Translation is like running software through an emulator. It works, but it's clunky, adds steps.
Right.
Thinking directly in English, that's like running it natively. Much smoother, much faster.
That's a great analogy. And it helps you avoid those literal translations that just sound weird.
Oh, yeah. Like the classic example our source mentions.
The I have cold one.
Exactly, instead of I am cold. It makes sense word for word from some languages, but it just doesn't land right in English.
Thinking in English means you tap into how English speakers actually, structure their thoughts.
Which really leads to a key question for you listening. Have you felt that frustration? That kind of mental traffic jam when you're trying to speak?
Do you wish it just felt easier?
Yeah.
More automatic?
Yeah, like the words just flow from the thought.
Okay, so let's dig in a bit more. Why exactly is this shift so important? What are the big benefits?
Well, the biggest one, fundamentally, is breaking that translation habit.
Getting past that constant conversion.
Right. When your mind operates directly in English, it's not trying to juggle two languages simultaneously. You form the thought in English.
So it naturally speeds things up.
Leads to much faster, more fluid speech.
Yeah. Our source used a nice image, like taking the training wheels off a bike.
It's trusting yourself to just do English.
And that must feel better when you're speaking too, less pressure.
Oh, definitely. When your responses come more quickly, more naturally, you just feel more confident.
You're not constantly double-checking in your head.
Exactly. Less second-guessing about word choice or sentence structure, because you're thinking within the language's framework.
Makes sense. And you mentioned listening skills too. How does thinking in English sharpen those?
Well, if your brain is already kind of in English mode, it processes what it hears much faster.
Ah, so you're not doing that internal translation step while someone's talking.
Precisely. You're understanding it directly as it comes in, so you can follow conversations better, pick up on, subtleties, tone, things you might miss if you're busy translating.
Okay, like your brain's already tuned to the right channel.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And surprisingly, this can even filter down to improve your pronunciation.
Really? How did that work?
Well, it's kind of subtle, but when you're thinking in English, you start internalizing the natural rhythm, the intonation, the music of the language, essentially.
Prosody.
Yes, the prosody. You hear that inner voice speaking English more like a native speaker, and that can actually influence how you articulate the sounds yourself.
Wow. Okay, so faster speaking, more confidence, better listening, even potentially clearer pronunciation. That's quite a list of benefits.
All from that core shift.
Right. So the next logical question then is, what stops people? What are the common mistakes or hurdles that keep learners stuck in translation mode?
Our source points out a few really common ones. The biggest, maybe unsurprisingly, is just relying too much on translation itself.
Just defaulting to it constantly.
If every time you want to say something or understand something, your first instinct is to convert it from your native language, your brain never really gets the practice it needs to operate directly in English.
It's like a crutch that actually stops you from walking properly on your own.
Well put, yeah. What's another big one?
Another one our source highlights is getting too bogged down in grammar while you're trying to speak.
The perfectionism trap.
Exactly. Focusing so much on getting every single grammatical rule perfect in your head before you speak, it just leads to hesitation.
Freezes you up, breaks the flow.
Yeah, that analysis paralysis thing. You're so worried about getting it 100% right that you end up saying nothing. We're speaking really, really slowly.
And the point about native speakers making mistakes is so important here.
Oh, absolutely. We all do it. Little slips.
Fluency isn't about perfect grammar 24/7. It's about clear communication.
Right. Which connects to the next point, doesn't it? The fear of making mistakes at all.
Yes. That's a huge one. Just being so worried about saying something wrong that you avoid trying. You avoid thinking or speaking in English as much as possible.
It's like being scared to fall off the bike so you never learn to ride.
Precisely. Mistakes are inevitable. They're part of learning. If you're not making any mistakes, you're probably not pushing yourself enough.
You need that practice, even if it's messy practice sometimes.
Absolutely. Imperfect practice is way better than no practice. And the last common mistake the source mentions is related. Just a lack of immersion.
Not surrounding yourself enough with the language.
Exactly. If English is only something you do during study time and the rest of your day is all in your native language, it's really hard for your brain to make that switch naturally.
You need to live in it a bit more.
Yeah. Think about changing your phone settings, listening to English music or podcasts while you commute, finding online groups, making it part of your daily fabric, not just a textbook exercise.
It's like trying to learn swimming by just reading a book about it. You got to jump in.
You do?
Okay, so we know why it's important. We know the common pitfalls. Now, the crucial part, how do we actually train our brains to think in English? What are the practical steps?
Right, the how-to. Our source gives some really good concrete strategies. The first one sounds simple, but it's powerful. Just consciously naming objects around you in English.
Like look at your desk and think, lamp, computer, pen.
Exactly. Just constantly labeling your environment in English in your mind. It builds those direct word-object connections, bypassing translation.
I like that. It's very direct, and the source suggests going a bit further than just the noun.
Yes. Once you've got the object, try a simple action with it. So not just cup, but maybe I'm holding my cup, or I am drinking water from my cup.
So you start building tiny sentences around the objects.
Exactly. Moving from single words to simple descriptive phrases in your head.
Cool. What's strategy number 2?
Engage in self-talk in English.
Talking to yourself.
Yeah, internally mostly, or even quietly out loud if you're alone. Just narrate what you're doing, or thinking, or seeing. Okay, I'm walking to the kitchen now. I need to make some tea.
It sounds a bit strange maybe, but I can see how that would work.
It's incredibly low pressure.
Right.
No audience, no judgment. You're just practicing forming thoughts in English. I remember trying it myself. Felt odd at first, but it really helped make English words feel more available.
That makes sense. Less pressure, more practice. What's the third technique?
Using an English-to-English dictionary. This is a big one.
Instead of English to your native language.
Exactly. Force yourself to understand the meaning within English, to look up excited, and instead of seeing the translation, you see a definition like feeling very happy and enthusiastic.
So it keeps your brain operating inside the English language framework.
Precisely. It stops that automatic jump back to your native tongue for meaning. You build the connections within English itself.
Okay, that's a really good tip. The next strategy is about sentence complexity.
Yeah. Don't try to think in really long, complex sentences straight away. Start simple.
Like basic building blocks first.
Right. Instead of, considering the weather forecast, I believe it would be prudent to take an umbrella when I depart from my appointment. Just think, it might rain. I need my umbrella.
Much more manageable.
Yeah. Think, I need food before you try. I ought to visit the supermarket because my supplies of fresh produce are depleted.
Yep.
Build that foundation of simple English thought patterns first.
Walk before you run. Makes sense. Strategy number 5.
Develop an English inner voice. This is about consciously trying to do your internal thinking, planning, deciding, reflecting in English.
So instead of thinking about your schedule for tomorrow in your first language.
Try doing it in English. Okay, tomorrow morning, first meeting is at 9. Then I need to work on that report. Actively choose English for those internal dialogues.
It's like flipping a switch in your head, intentionally.
Yeah, making English the default for your own private thoughts, even if it feels effortful at first.
Okay. And the final strategy in this set.
Immersion. Just surround yourself with English as much as you realistically can.
We touched on this with the pitfalls, but making it an active strategy.
Right. Podcasts, videos, movies, books, articles, music, news websites, whatever you enjoy. The more input you get, the more your brain gets used to processing English automatically.
Flood the zone, basically.
Essentially, yes. Make it ubiquitous in your environment.
Okay, let's quickly recap those 6. Naming objects, self-talk, English to English dictionary, start with simple sentences, develop that English inner voice, and immerse yourself. Those are all really actionable.
And the key, like our source says, is just to start. Don't wait. Pick one and try it today. But, okay, knowing the strategies is one thing. Making them a habit is another. What about daily exercises?
Good point. How do you weave these into a routine so they actually stick?
Well, one idea is to start and end your day with English.
How so?
When you first wake up, just mentally plan the first few things you'll do in simple English. Okay, get up, brush teeth, make coffee.
Just a quick little mental warm-up.
Exactly. And then before bed, maybe do a quick review of your day in English. Today was busy, meeting went well, had pasta for dinner.
Like little English bookends to your day?
Yeah, primes the brain in the morning, reinforces it at night. Another daily exercise. Set a specific no translation time.
Ooh, like a challenge period.
Yeah, maybe just 15 minutes or 30 minutes. During that time, you commit to only thinking in English. If you hit a word you don't know, try to think around it in English. Describe it.
Don't just mentally reach for the translation.
Right. Really forces you to stay within that English thinking space.
That sounds tough, but probably very effective. What else?
Actually talking to yourself out loud in English for a few minutes.
Building on the internal self-talk idea?
Yeah, making it verbal. Okay, I'm chopping onions now. Need to find the pan. Saying it out loud can strengthen that thought-to-speech connection.
Makes it more concrete. And using English during mundane tasks.
Absolutely. When you're cooking, cleaning, walking, driving, whatever, make a conscious effort to narrate or comment on it in English in your head. Weather's nice today. Sky is blue. Lots of traffic.
Turning everyday moments into mini practice sessions.
Exactly. It's about finding those opportunities throughout the day.
Being intentional. And the last daily exercise mentioned was journaling.
Yes. Keeping an English journal doesn't have to be long essays, just jotting down thoughts, what happened in your day, maybe your goals, in simple English.
Focusing on expression, not perfection.
Right. The act of writing forces you to structure thoughts in English. Plus, it's a great way to see your progress over time when you look back.
So these daily habits, start in day in English, no translation time, talking aloud, using English during routines, journaling, they all build consistency.
That's the goal. Small, consistent efforts add up. It makes thinking in English feel less like a chore and more like a natural default over time. But we should also talk about the challenges because it's not always smooth sailing.
Definitely. It's easy to get discouraged. What are some common bumps in the road learners hit?
Well, that native language default is strong. Your brain wants to go back to what's easiest and most familiar.
So you find yourself slipping back into translating without realizing it.
All the time. It's totally normal. The key is patience. Don't beat yourself up. Just gently redirect. Start small, single words, simple phrases in English. And that English to English dictionary habit really helps weaken the reliance on translation here.
Okay, so acknowledge it'll happen, be patient, and keep nudging yourself back. What's another hurdle?
Vocabulary gaps. Feeling like you want to think in English, but you just don't have the word you need.
Yeah, that's frustrating. You get stuck.
It is.
Ugh.
But instead of immediately giving up and translating, try to describe the word using other English words you do know. Like the source's example. You can't think of refrigerator.
Try the cold box for food.
Exactly. That machine that keeps food cold. It keeps you thinking in English and makes you resourceful with the language you have.
So working around the missing word in English. Good strategy. And the last challenge mentioned, feeling like you're not making progress.
Yeah, this one's tough because progress can be slow and hard to see day to day.
You feel like you're putting in the work, but nothing's changing.
Right. And that can be really demotivating. That's why tracking your efforts can be useful.
Like the journal you mentioned. Or maybe recording yourself.
Yes. Keep the journal, maybe make short voice memos just talking about your day in English sometimes. When you look back after a few weeks or months, you'll often be surprised at the progress you have made, even if it felt slow at the time.
Recognizing the small wins.
Definitely. And just remembering it's a marathon, not a sprint. Be kind to yourself. Patience and consistency are everything.
That's a really important reminder. It's a journey.
Exactly. Thinking in English isn't a switch you flip overnight. It's a skill you build piece by piece with practice and persistence and, yeah, stepping outside that comfort zone of always translating.
So, for everyone listening, the challenge is clear. Pick one thing, just one technique from our discussion today that seems doable for you.
Maybe it's naming objects on your commute. Maybe it's trying that 15-minute no translation rule.
Whatever it is, give it a go this week. And then maybe take a moment to think about it. What felt hard? What actually worked better than you expected?
And maybe zoom out a little. Consider this final thought. How could shifting your internal language, really starting to think in English, do more than just improve your fluency?
How might it open up maybe a deeper connection to the cultures that use English?
Yeah, what new viewpoints, what different ways of seeing things might emerge when you start experiencing the world, even just internally, through the framework of another language? Something to think about.